I know it's been a while. It's almost 4 o'clock, I think. I'm not sure. PM, in Boston. And I'm here to talk about something a little bit more personal than usual. As far as my visual challenge is concerned, I often talk about it in terms of accessibility, in terms of, or lack thereof, also in terms of the things that I use, like my Braille display and voiceover on the iPhone and the Mac, and things like that that allow my life to be more independent. Note that each person is different and we all use different things depending on our work and what we do in life. But today I'm going to talk about something a bit more personal, so it's going to be a little harder for me, but here it goes. To look, to see, to watch. How come we cannot say those verbs? And by we, I mean people with visual challenges, especially people who are totally blind. How come we can't say those things? Well, many people find them bizarre. How can you watch TV? How can you dream? Because apparently we can't dream either. If you can't see, how can you do things if you can't see? I understand to a certain extent the great importance given to to physical sight, to the ability to see and look and watch with your eyes. How is it possible that it could be so hard and next to impossible if you can't do that with your eyes? Has it occurred to anyone that seeing can be done with other senses? Oh, it's not the same thing. Well, no, it isn't. But many of us have no other choice. And so we either see the world differently and we can still see the world, or we might as well just stay in bed and not do anything. Okay? A lot of the songs that I sing, music being my light, have to do with seeing, looking, watching. So am I then not able to say things like, someone to watch over me, because I cannot watch with my eyes? What about, and I suddenly turn and see your fabulous face, right? Or, look at the world, look at the trees and flowers, look at the sky, the sunshine and the rain. So, again, this may be different from person to person, but I will say these verbs: to watch, to look, to see. I look, I see, I watch. And so does every other person who chooses to speak that way and to say those words. And look, sometimes, yeah, can I say that too? Yes, I can. Look. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard for me because I have had issues at times with not having the physical sight to look at the same world the same way you're looking at. You know, the same world you're looking at, the same way you look at it with. But the truth of the matter is that, yes, you develop your other senses, your hands, your ears, and your ability to perceive. Sometimes it's hard for me to explain how that works, and it still is. For instance, how do you follow choral conducting? It is very hard for me to explain to a conductor how I do that, because I taught myself to do that when I was 5 or 6. It is said that children are very resilient, although I have issues with that statement too. But at any rate, you just learn how to do it. You learn how to perceive. And yes, sometimes it is hard not to be able to physically see, but that doesn't mean I can't say, for instance, the other day I said something like, I watched an entire marathon of telenovelas, of Spanish-speaking soap operas for an entire weekend. Well, how can you do that, I was told? You know, because of your sight. Oh, wait a minute, I can watch TV and I can watch YouTube without sight? Of course I can. Does it drive me crazy when they sometimes have these visual things and they don't say anything? It drives me nuts. YouTubers, take heed. You need to speak, and so that things can be easily seen by everyone. So, yeah, so I watch with my ears, with my hands sometimes. Someone actually suggested, you bring your hands to people's TV, to the TV, and you perceive through the, no. I watch through my perception, I watch through my ears. The verbs to see, to look, can be said by blind people, by people who happen to be blind. Because blindness is not what defines us, just as being deaf or hard of hearing or being in a wheelchair or having difficulty walking or being cognitively impaired or developmentally impaired. That's not what defines a person. It's what the person can bring to the mix, what the person can bring to the world. And does every blind or visually impaired people think that way? No. There are some sightless people who might be comfortable not using these verbs or may not find it so, I don't know, so frustrating every time we get questioned by as to why we use these verbs. So don't take what I am saying as the gospel truth, but understand this. There are many people that do think the way I do, that they can say the word see because they do, that they can watch because they do, because they can say the word, the phrase to look at, because in fact they can, and they do. So if we say things like watching TV or watching YouTube or watching a video or something like that, that is okay. We mean it. I have issues explaining because I feel that when I explain these kinds of things or when I explain if it's not something that's related to accessibility and technology, which it's easier for me to explain, things about daily life are more difficult for me as a person because I often feel like why do I have to explain myself? Like, why? Why does my blindness give people the right to ask questions that they don't need to answer? Of course, they're not blind, but I feel like, it's my life. And why should I have to explain myself? Do I come from a different planet? Why? And that is something that, and then another part of me says, well, they need to be taught. And that is something I keep struggling with. And I hope that you can understand my struggle. We all have different kinds of struggles, and I hope you can accept that. Just as I hope that I can someday accept wholeheartedly that people do question why we say to watch, to see, to look, when in fact we don't physically do that. Another thing, that again, this is my thing. No, please try not to assume that all blind people have to touch people's faces in order to know what they look like, or in order to meet them and know them. The press has been very quick to make that something that is a staple thing of blind people, that's how they meet people, that's how they get to know them. Okay, that may be true to some, and I am not judging that. Okay, in no way. It's just not true for everybody. My gosh, especially in times like these, when you're not supposed to be touching things, so, just haphazardly. But anyway, I don't meet people that way. So that's why sometimes it is harder for me via Zoom, whether it's classes or meeting or therapy. It is harder. Yes, I perceive, and yes, I look and watch and see, but it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. And it's harder for me because I cannot see the same way, when I'm in person, even though I don't have the physicality of the sight, I see the person better. Hard to explain, I know, just trust me on that one. But I am not going to touch their face. Again, this is the same for other people that happen to be visually impaired. And it may be the case for others that they do touch faces, but that is a general blanket statement or blanket assumption that should not be the blanket assumption. So, to watch, to see, to look, those verbs are for everyone. Everyone can see in different ways. Some ways that cannot be fully explained just like that. Everyone can learn. Everyone deserves to use whatever words they choose to, without question and without hesitation. I hope that anything that I've said has made some sense, because this hasn't been easy for me to say, but here it is. You're probably expecting a song, and I'm expecting myself to sing, and I don't know what to do. I'll sing something fast, okay? In fact, let's do this one quick. There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone who watch over me. Fix the string for a second. I'm a little lamb who's lost in the wood. I know I could to my heart. He carries the key. Won't you tell him please to put on some speed? I hope that he turns out to be someone who'll watch over me. Someone who'll watch over I hadn't warmed up, so so don't take it as an audition piece. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Stay safe.